Alexander Usyk defending his title against Anthony Joshua. It played out exactly how I thought it was going to play out. I knew this fight was going to be different. It was going to be different than the first time that Anthony Joshua lost his belt against Andy Ruiz. But I also knew he was going to try the same thing he tried against Andy Ruiz. He was going to come out aggressive. He was going to try to force the action. He was going to try to get him in there, get him out of there quick. Now, we all know Anthony Joshua got stamina issues. He put too much on his shots. He load up on every punch. And he ain't got that much head movement. But the difference between his comeback with Ruiz and his comeback with Usyk is because Ruiz, that particular fight, he made history. It was an overnight sensation. You know what I'm saying? He made history as the first Mexican heavyweight champion of the world. Fame got to him, got that money. Didn't train properly, I would say. Wasn't as aggressive as he was in the first fight. Got cut. And it was downhill from there. It just looked like he was in it for the payday. He said himself he didn't train properly, drinking beer and shit. So, there it is. You already rich. You an instant night sensation. You know what I'm saying? But I kind of figured Joshua was going to try to do the same thing. He was going to try to do the same exact thing that he did to get his belts back before, but this is a totally different fighter. This fighter had head movement, footwork to get out the range, way of punches. I mean, Joshua was Joshua. But the thing about Usyk, he made the fight harder than he had to. He was throwing a lot of arm punches. He wasn't stepping into his shots. He was just kind of sort of just hitting him, just touching him. And that's why he got caught with a lot of shit that he wasn't supposed to get caught with. Because he was standing in front of Joshua, wasn't closing the distance, and wasn't stepping into his shots. So he kind of made the fight harder than it had to be. If he was stepping into his shots, and once he touched Joshua's hands came down by his chest. He hit him with 3-4 punch combinations and then moonwalk. I'm screaming at the motherfucking TV like, what the fuck is you doing? Jump on him. But, he still won, but he made the fight much harder than it had to be. Now, the ninth round, before the ninth round, Joshua, he got tired of missing. So he started focusing on the body, the stationary target, which caught Usyk, you know what I'm saying, by surprise. I mean, a low blow here. I mean, whether a low blow get caught or not, man, I'm going to tell y'all from experience. You get hit with that motherfucker, they take a point, whatever, that shit's still going to hurt. And you carry that shit with you. Some fighters fight dirty. Some fighters don't mean to do it. Some fighters mean to do it to gain the edge. You know what I'm saying? But you still going to have them effects no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Ninth round, body shot caught him good. He flurried a little bit. Both fighters was exhausted. Was fucking exhausted. They both was fighting on pure heart. But we know AJ, once again, once he shoot his wide, there ain't no gas stations in the ring. You know what I'm saying? And he just became a stationary target. He was a punching bag. And I believe Usyk could have got him out of there if he pressed the issue. He didn't press the issue. He didn't step into his shots. He was throwing arm punches. Then he a moonwalk. And again, he didn't close the gap. He's supposed to have been ripping Joshua to pieces. He's supposed to have been fucking that boy up. Because he was wide the fuck open. And I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. He was wide open. He was ripping him up. Then Usyk flurried back in the 10th round. Got a burst of energy. Now, I possibly can believe he took a round off. You know what I'm saying? Just to come back and make that statement. Just to come back and have something. You know what I'm saying? Because AJ started early. He started aggressive early. But overall, it was a good fucking fight, man. It's a real good fight. But Usyk, to me, made it hard on himself than he had to. You know what I'm saying? And I get AJ's kudos for coming out being aggressive. You know what I'm saying? He tried. But Usyk kind of gave him the fucking driveway to drive the car right in the motherfucking garage. You know what I'm saying? Because he made the fight hard for himself instead of making it easy, stepping into his shots. Then he was throwing a lot of slapping wide punches too at Joshua. And Joshua just had the hands up like this, and they were just slapping him on the side, on the side. But more straight punches from Usyk, a little more body work, because Joshua always gas out. He always gas out because he load up so fucking much. But he got the job done. From the 10th, 11th, and 12th, the championship rounds, he did what he had to do to win. And the 12th round, we see Joshua knew he had nothing left. So what was his tactic? His tactic was to lean on him, make him tired, so you can make him stationary, so you can catch him with something and miraculously turn the fight around and get a knockout or a knockdown. That didn't happen. He bull rushing him into the ropes, tired. A couple times Usyk had to push him up off of him because he was just leaning on him, trying to wear him down. Now that's an old Klitschko tactic that Klitschko used because he was always the bigger fighter no matter what heavyweight he fought. He'll lean on you, wear you down, get you already exhausted, and you got a 200-something pound motherfucker just leaning on you. Shit, yeah, it's gonna wear you down if the referee don't get over there in time enough to break that shit up. But fighters still act like they don't hear that shit because it's strategic. It's boxing. There's little tricks and shit that boxers do. So he tried that shit. It didn't work. Now the part at the very end, Joshua walked out the ring. And he was kind of, he went over, shook the hand of the fighters and everything, walked out the ring and everything. Now, as he was going back to the dressing room, I don't know if someone said something to him like, nigga, why you being a sore loser, or where you going, or whatever. But whatever happened, he stopped in his tracks, turned around, grabbed the mic, and you know what I'm saying? So I think, to me, from what it looks like, I don't know what was said, but what it looks like is look like somebody said something of that nature. Like, why are you leaving? You know what I'm saying? Just because you lost. Be a man, own your win. The fans want to hear what you got to say. You know what I'm saying? And he did a respectful thing, like Chris Algerian was saying. I never saw a guy take defeat so humbly. You know what I'm saying? But you got to think about it like this. These motherfuckers making millions and millions of dollars. Millions on top of millions. And I always thought Joshua Hart wasn't really into boxing. I remember he was supposed to fight Deontay Wilder. And he said out of his own mouth in the interview, he wasn't ready for Wilder. No one's going to admit that shit if you a champion and he a champion. You got all the belts. What the fuck you mean you ain't ready for Wilder? And again, that's another fight that could have happened but never happened. This shit is killing boxing. Then what happens? Both of them take losses. Then both of them careers go this way. So if they wasn't like this when both of them had belts, I doubt if they come back. But it's still a must-see fight, and it still can happen. I would still like to see that fight. But it's just the fights. We gotta demand these fights to happen, man. There's a lot of fights that can be made that's not happening like they supposed to. And to be perfectly honest with you guys, that's why MMA is growing so big and fast. The motherfuckers put the fights together. Every fighter you see, MMA putting the best against the best. Ain't nobody worrying about letting they O go in MMA. Them motherfuckers fighting each other. And the funny part about it, they ain't making much as boxers making, because boxing's been around for like 100 something, maybe 100 years or so. It's been around, and it's been around a long time. But MMA is popularly growing because they putting the best against the best. We got to get back on our shit, y'all. But overall, good fight from Usyk, defending champion. I don't know where he go from here. The Tyson Fury shit, I don't really want to see that fight. Because I don't think nobody in the heavyweight division beating Tyson right now. I mean, his chin. He got a miraculous chin. He been on the floor all them times with Wilder. Ain't nobody beating Fury right now, because ain't nobody cracking like Wilder to really get him out of there. And you ain't going to beat him on points, because he's just as slippery as Usyk. But this raw and real, my thoughts, giving y'all the real deal and the spill of what just happened. Great fucking fight, y'all.